Trade of the day. Gonna look through some of the sectors, how they're looking in relation to their daily trends. So parallel EVMs are bearish. Fuck them. AI. Obviously Nvidia itself is pushing towards the highs as the stock market has made new highs. I'm very, 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 very mindful of this being a top. People have gotten themselves all excited when, in reality, this is exactly what price would do if it was beginning a distribution before going lower. Definitely don't rule that out. And when it's rallied up into the highs with no pullback, right? Rallied all the way up. So the S&P went up, fucking 2 weeks in a row? No pullbacks, no red days, all green. That's not going to continue, in my opinion. That's really not what you want to see. So I think the odds of it actually pulling back are much higher now that it's hit liquidity. Same as the Nasdaq. And look, if that happens, you're looking at it to come back and consolidate, go higher later. But obviously, this could be the start of a deeper decline. So I've got that. I've got one eye on that. I've got one eye on Bitcoin underperforming the S&P and the Nasdaq, right? So Nasdaq at all-time highs, S&P at all-time highs, Bitcoin not at all-time highs, right? So I think that all lines up with Bitcoin going to the highs. Is it possible? Sure. Going to 70? Sure. Going to 69? Sure. So with the setup and the structure here, I think we can see some continuation, but I'm not rushing into any trades, really, at all. Daily bands for render, good, but this is distributing, right? This is a lower high bounce. It's showing weakness. It's closing at the lows 4 days in a row. This is ready to just roll over. I think people have gotten a little bit too excited about some of these coins too fast. Near looks great. That's a great setup. But Near setup is exactly the setup Pepe had, just a few days behind. Right? You look at Near beside Pepe. It is the same setup, right? So consolidating below the highs, pushing towards the all-time high, pushing towards the all-time high. Pepe is rejected. So does that mean Near will do the exact same thing? No. Some of the AI stuff can do okay. We've got Nvidia earnings, etc., etc., etc. But AI as a whole looks fine. Akash looks good. What else? Dpin, Arweave is one of the strong ones that I talked about a couple of weeks ago, but I said the exact same thing. I was like, a lot of these coins in May, if you go back, whenever I said it, weekly outlook, maybe whatever, I was like, in May, a lot of these coins will make highs, and then down they come. People get themselves super long into the breakouts. These are not breakouts. There's nothing to suggest that any of these breakouts are going to hold. Not yet. Because you got Bitcoin lagging equities. You've got Pepe showing already that, and Pepe's the strongest, and it's meme, and it's the best narrative. Like, Pepe was probably the one that should have had the best chance of a proper breakout, and it didn't. And I just don't think this is the next leg of the bull. Simple. And it doesn't mean I'm right, but I'm certainly not looking to add much in here. And I don't think any of these are overly interesting, right? Most of them just dead at their lows. Will they rally? Sure. But they can rally because they're so badly beaten down. Meme coins, right after everyone getting excited about meme coins, no real strength, no real strength, okay, not strong, better than most, nothing. So like, I don't see it. Bitcoin Cash, cool. Ripple, no. Litecoin, no. I mean, it's not, I just don't see it. Now, does this mean everything's going to nuke lower? No. But I don't think we're going to see any extended trends. I think at like best case scenario, your stuff's going to come up and start to form an actual base here for it to go higher later on. That's best case. Worst case, it fucking goes to zero because it's Litecoin and shit. So anyway, with all that said, let's take a look at some of the main coins, where they're at in relation to their 4-hour trends, and how is the market actually shaping up. Bitcoin is not in a 4-hour uptrend yet, just by the bands. The bands still need to cross. ETH, not even close, right? ETH still fully in a 4-hour downtrend in terms of the bands. Yes, price is going sideways, but the bands have to flip, then cross, then usually you get a retest, right? So there's still a lot of work to be done. And the 200 is the most important out of those, right? If it's not above the 200 EMA, it's not good. Solana, this is one of the better ones. It has flipped above those bands. It's following Bitcoin pretty much. It should flip into a 4-hour uptrend soon. And if it can continue to hold above this 160 level, that looks good. That's decent, right? That's better than most. And Solana might get a chance to run because it's, been strong throughout the bull and has had quite a decent cool off. I think you're looking at like weekly closes for some of these really matter. Like this week, a strong weekly close in Solana would be a big sign, because currently it's in this very bearish redistribution, bear flag, bear pennant, whatever you want to call it, weekly, where it had broken down, chopped sideways. That would lead to continuation lower unless it can close outside it. So it's currently trying to break out up out of that. I'm leaning towards doing nothing until the end of the week. You want to see some of these weekly closes come in strong, even Bitcoin itself, right? A lot can happen in the next 3 days. You want to see this strong weekly close. ETH, you want to see it close a weekly at least above 3,000. But ETH's just brutal. And honestly, I don't see, how does Render look on the weekly? Not great, near, decent, definitely. So there's some signs of strength. There's other signs of coins that are just really bouncing into just in the middle of nowhere, right? So what does this all mean? I think the market has been led up by Bitcoin having a bit of a move, and I really don't think that we're back for any of these. I think there's enough capital in the market to move Bitcoin back towards the range highs. We know that. I don't think any big breakouts coming, and I think it'll roll over again just as quickly once there's any sign of weakness. So, it's an interesting market. I think ranges are going to start forming rather than being finished. Consolidations, right? Like Solana, for example, which definitely looks better than most. I think if this breakout can stick and it can hold, you're probably looking at, okay, is Solana actually able to now consolidate in this area before a breakout? Which to me would need to see probably a few more weeks. Now, of course, momentum might just take it straight up. Could do. If so, well, that's what happens, right? It's not, Total 3 doesn't scream strength to me. Again, just consolidating sideways after a breakdown or after a top. So the more I look at the market, the less bullish I am. Very, very simple sense. Total 2 minus the stables. There's nothing here yet. So I think the market, I don't know, it's just, I'm doing nothing. No trades, no interest. Not on any of this stuff. Bitcoin, if it continues to have, more daily closes up here, I'll start to build those swing trades like I mentioned in daily levels. But really, I look across the rest of the market and I just see trash. Trash. And even the ones that are supposed to be strong, right? It's not just like Cardano and fucking Avalanche that are strong. This is literally just coiling up to fucking nuke. I mean, look at it. Will it? Well, everyone got excited on the last couple of pumps. Oh, the bears, fuck the bears. The bears are 100% right here, as of right now. If WIF is going to continue holding and start to move up, great. But it's not, right? It's getting sold into every time. Is that squeezing for a massive breakout? Could be, but it's currently not. You just wait for it to break out. It's really simple. Don't jump the gun. So, for me, if WIF does this, if it sort of breaks from this squeeze that it's in and holds, and you start to see it doing that, that's it. Up. That's probably the bottom. WIF then probably trends through to the highs. Right? But for me, that means I need to wait for that move. And WIF's one of the leaders, so I need to wait. And Pepe, one of the other leaders, is rejecting all-time high. Now, it's not nuking to zero yet. It's not super bearish, but it's also not bullish. It's had 3 pushes into the highs, rejected. So no real great setups here, right? And some of your lower cap shitcoin alts still probably have some moves, but out of the bigger end, the top end of the market, really just Bitcoin looks good and Solana looks decent. So it's best to just focus there where the strength is. Sol is pushing up into the strongest resistance that it has. And so this path is now following nicely. I'd like to see maybe that same thing where it attempts to retest or consolidate. So it doesn't have to come back and retest like that, but if it consolidates, meaning if it holds above this level for a few days, that would be a good sign too. So, time. Bitcoin Sol look good. The rest of the market, frankly, looks terrible. So I'm going to just look at those two. Keep focused there. See how today comes. Wait for today's close. Wait for the ETF flows. See how it all looks. And then we'll set some plans for next week. GM.